Good evening, everybody, to this January 2024 meeting of the full council. I'd like to say thank you for everybody who's been able to stay up tonight with the weather that we have. Apologies.
Yeah, got a few apologies tonight. So apologies from Councillor Butterworth, Councillor David and Sarah Coburn-Price, Councillor Lord, Councillor Howard and Mary Thomas, and Councillor Wildman.
Okay. Any other? No other apologies for the floor?
Brian Wildman.
Thank you. Great. Item 4, minutes of the previous meeting. Has anybody got any questions or matters to raise? I do apologise. Item 3, declarations of interest. To receive any declarations of interest from members relating to any item on the agenda in accordance with the provisions of the Code of Conduct, and to indicate if S106 of the Local Government Finance Act 1992 applies to them.
Chairman, I have an interest on one of the planning applications. It's the second one, the retaining wall at Peter Birksall Trust. The reason I have to declare it is I'm a trustee of Peter Birksall Trust, but the interest I've got is a non-pecuniary one, so I intend to remain in the room, but not speak on the item or vote on the item. But if anyone has any questions about the application, if they want to ask a question, I'm quite happy to try and answer it, but I do not want to generally speak on it.
Thank you very much, Councillor. Is there any other interests? No, so that was noted. So I do apologise, we go back to item 4 again. Do apologise about that. So the minutes for December 2023 meeting, has anybody got any questions or queries from that arising? Okay, if there's no queries, can I have a proposed and a seconder, please? Proposed by Councillor Ian and Councillor Michael. Are we all in favour? Show a hand. Yes, all in favour. So, and today's date is 23rd. 23rd. Item 5, public forum. To consider questions, statements or petitions from members of the public who are welcome to the meeting and have a total collectively of 15 minutes to make their representations to the council.
I haven't had anyone registered to speak.
No registered. Thank you. We're moving on to item 6, which is finances. The first one, section 8, is to receive a schedule of payments from the 13th of December to the 16th of January 2024 for approval.
Has anyone got any questions?
No questions on the finances? In that case, for section A, can I have a mover and a seconder, please? Councillor Patricia and Councillor Ian. Show of hands, all in favour? Yep, that's carried. Next one is finances, section B, to receive a summary of budget, expenditure and commitments as of 16th of January 2024.
Again, any questions?
No questions? Okay, if everybody's happy, can I have a proposal and seconder, please? Patricia and Councillor Ian again. And if everybody's in favour of that, yep, that's carried. So that's section 6 done. Section 7, reserves and treasury management policy. To consider the amended policy presented as recommended by the Finance and Employment and Services Committee. Has anybody got any questions or queries?
This has actually been to the FES committee, so it's on a recommendation from them. Basically, the things that are highlighted are what's changed, and basically it's just to put the new figures in for the reserves, etc.
Chair, I propose that we accept the review as detailed in these documents.
Okay, so I have a proposal and councillor Ellis.
One of the queries that I did have was, why are we having a lump sum? No, we used to have a lump sum and we're dividing it equally through the year.
That's because that's the way that Pendle pay it now.
Right, okay, so
Yeah.
it's pending.
It's not us, it's Pendle.
Right,
Yeah, so
okay,
that's-
thank
we've-
you.
We've had to do that.
Yeah.
Second.
Okay, so we have a question. Have we got a second for section 7? Councillor Ian again. If anybody's in favour, can I show of hands, please? Yep. Thank you very much. Number 8, which is banking and investment.
Yeah, so at the last FES meeting, we looked at, well, the last full council, we were given delegated authority to look at other accounts that we could deposit some funds with, given that the Skipton one has had to be closed. So 2 options went to the FES committee, and they went with the recommendations to actually put deposits with both accounts, just to spread the balances further between 3 different institutions, then just to make it slightly safer for the money. So basically this is just to tell you that we are going to deposit 100 and what's it? Trying to think, £150,000 with the Public Sector Deposit Fund, which is administered by the CCLA, and then 115,000 with the Unity Trust Bank. So then that's just to gain the relevant authorization for those accounts. So as per financial regulations, we say that the signatories should be the chair of the council, the chair of the FES committee, the town clerk and the finance officer.
Okay, moving on to item 9, which is the 2024-25 budget final draft, which is to consider the proposed budget and precept increase for approval by the full council. Has everybody had a chance to have a look at the figures? Has anybody got any questions or queries?
Alice, were you happy with my explanation?
Yes, yes, very happy, thank you.
If that being so, if everyone's had a chance, have I got a proposal? Councillor Ian, a seconder. Councillor Patricia.
Howarth.
No.
Oh,
Pat.
I do apologise. So we've got the proposal, we've got a seconder. Are we all in favour, councillors? Yep, that's unanimous.
Change the box one. There is. In this case, there's 2.
Moving on to item 10, which is Treasure Our Town. To consider dates and times for the Treasure Our Town group sessions for 24-25.
Okay, I don't know if you've all had a chance to read the report. Obviously the social media that we did do didn't get that much engagement at the time. However, since we have had word from the junior council that they would like to get involved and help out to try and keep the town tidy. So we do have some volunteers. In May, we got a show of hands of who wanted to be involved with it. From that, I got Councillor Sarah Coburn-Price, Councillor Hannah Wood, Councillor Lord, Councillor Mann, Councillor Moffat, Councillor Robinson and Councillor Mary Thomas. I don't know if there's anyone else who would like to be involved with it. And just getting clarification that the names that I've read out are still interested. Yeah. Okay. So this was an idea to basically, I think we just need to pick a day and start the sessions. I think as we go, we can use social media to our advantage. Maybe say, oh, we only had so many people turn up. This is what we did, like before and after pictures and things like that, just to try and encourage more people to join in the event, really. So we've said we're going to do one per month. The first one being the first week in March, we think. But during the day, because obviously if the schools want to get involved, then it has to be during school time. So the preference was obviously Kaylee is the I've got no title now. Media and Communications Officer. She's actually sort of taking the admin side of this project. But she's put Wednesdays preferable. It's also preferable for the office because it's the quietest day we have, really, with no events booked in at the town hall. So if everybody is okay with that, it's proposed that the first week in March, I'm not sure what date, if anyone's got a calendar for the Wednesday.
It's down on the 6th.
The 6th. If everyone's happy with that date, if we can book that in. Obviously, those that can't attend maybe can attend the next one, and we'll just go off whoever can make it on the day, and we'll go from there. Okay. I don't know if anyone's had any thoughts on where you want to start. Ian?
Thank you, Chair. I was just reading on this that West Street Primary School have offered. They are very proactive, and I think for the first one that we should choose an area suitable for West Street. There's quite a few areas down there. I think like Broken Banks is a notorious spot, and various other places. The woods in front of Patton Street. That would tie in as well because a lot of the kids at West Street obviously live in that area. I know many years ago, the council at the time organised a litter picking session with Plymouth High School around that area, Gidfield around that area. And the results was incredible. The kids who were basically volunteered to go out were disgusted at the state of the streets. And when it was pointed out that they were the fault, it changed and it made a big impact. And I think this could be the same with this area. Also, possibly, again, because we're looking at kids and that, is linking into parents of the children as well.
Well, it may be that some of the teachers will come with them.
That's what I was thinking, because they're the parents,
or the
they have a
teachers.
parents association, and they're very proactive. So yeah.
Is it just West Street?
It's actually they sort of brought on behalf of Colne Junior Council. So I think it's basically they all picked a certain subject that they wanted to correspond about, but they were all interested in helping. So
it could be more than one area then for each school then.
yeah, so I think it's probably if we arrange certain areas and then one that's near their school, then they can join in that session. What I will do is just check the date with West Street School just to see if it's okay with them. If not, then we may want to change the area for a different school. But, yeah.
Councillor Patricia.
Thank you, Chair. I had I was on the Nelson Town Council, we had a similar situation like this with the different schools. So I concur with Councillor Robinson that getting the schools and even CYAG, which is another event item later on, we could get them involved and clearing the areas because it's definitely a good idea. And it's got me other hat on as well with climate emergency. Thank you, Chair.
Councillor Pratt.
how big is the West Street area? Because I live down there
Right, I mean,
and my street is a mess. There's a shop there on the corner and the mess from that shop is unbelievable. We used to have a bin. I've been asking Lancashire County Council for 4 years for the bin back. They can't afford it. So, you know, a lot of it ends on my doorstep here. So, is my street included in the West Street area?
yes, it would be, I think, yeah.
That's one. Okay.
But I think the plan is that every area will get at least one visit.
Yeah.
I've got Councillor Anthony as well.
Thank you. I just want to give some credit to some of the groups that we've got in the Waterside area, such as the Waterside Warriors, who took a group of children out cleaning the streets of Waterside recently, and some of the stuff they found dumped was absolutely horrendous. And I think we should approach maybe some of those groups as well, see if they want to get involved with the project. Obviously, Alice has got her group as well, who also do fantastic work as well. And I think if we can bring these little groups in with what we're doing as well, I think it can help boost relations. And just the point is what Councillor Robinson said about the woods adjacent to Patton Street. That is a notorious dumping spot, fly tipping spot. Something urgent does need to be done about that particular area. Maybe if we could get a camera up in that area to focus on that, because you will clear something will get cleared, and within 24 hours a new lot will get it's back again. There's someone in that area who's going around who was fly tipping, who's using it as a dumping ground. If not at the top, it's at the bottom. It's in.
Yeah, what we should be doing is basically, if anyone's noticed anything like that, is to report it to Pendleborough Council as fly tipping, and hopefully they will. Well, once they know the areas that are of major concern, then obviously they can concentrate their efforts on them.
I've got Councillor Alice. I've got Councillor Michael first.
I was wondering about the practicalities with the children. I'm all for it, but we've done that area on more than one occasion, and things like needles is not unusual to find. So I was just wondering how the children are going to go around. I'm assuming they'll be in small groups with a teacher and somebody from a.
Yeah, they should be. Obviously, the teacher had signed that letter as well. So obviously, I'll have that conversation with them before we go out or do anything. So yeah.
And Councillor Alice.
Yes, when I was reading the report, I was quite interested in the fact that people were a bit disappointed with the lack of volunteers. But again, I think there's quite a few that are in that area. As you say, the Waterside Warriors, obviously the Waterside Action Group, Pick Up for Pendle. Conin Bloom went out last week down to the roundabout near the plumbing station. So there's all these different groups and just individuals with their carrier bags that somehow we need to coordinate and obviously get them out. I'm assuming that the Waterside Warriors will have somebody who's in charge of that. And we need to speak to the bid. A lot of the businesses have to come out. It's part of their remit for community action. Diane from Asda, she's been out litter picking in the Millennium Green. So there are people that will want to do it. So it's about getting the word out as much as possible. I do agree that we do need risk assessment. When I take the guides out to do litter pick, we always say you do not pick up any glass. Obviously needles, you report immediately. You're in small groups and you've got an adult with you at all times. Yeah, so that needs to be done. Car parks in West Street, yeah. Hawley Street, I wouldn't have children in Hawley Street, but there are notorious areas, Blasphemy Square, that do need constant litter picks.
Yeah, I think from what's being mentioned tonight is, I think the consensus really is trying to get a focal point for all the small groups to get involved and get the message out as well. It's like, we've got this here, but can we use the screens, get into the schools and let them know about these other units that are doing it? But like you say, if we can get more of these groups together with Kaylee.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, the idea of leaving it till the first week in March was so that obviously we could help promote it and do what we can to get the message out that, you know, where we're going, and for people to join us if they can, or tell us where they've been, what they've been doing. Then we don't include the same areas or whatever. Yeah. So. Well, I'll speak with the schools and see what they suggest. But yes, it will be during the day at some point on the Wednesday, I think.
Okay. Any other questions about item 10, treasure time? So-
Can we just get a proposer and second
Yep.
for the Wednesday?
Yeah, we've got proposal. We've got plenty of setting. Councillor Ellis, all in favour? Yep. Moving on to item 11, which is the Colne Youth Action Group updates. To receive an update on the plans and activities held by the Colne Youth Action Group. Bringing this one.
Yeah, unfortunately, Sarah's not here tonight. But if anyone has any questions that they want to forward to me, I can always forward them on to her if anyone wants to know anything or any clarification or anything. But really, it's just to give you information, really, and to note that update.
Yes, Councillor Ian.
Thank you, Chair. I think looking at this, they're doing quite a good job. I'm interested that they're actually putting down Forest School as well. I think it's a good way forward to get the youth involved in something that doesn't involve electronic gadgets or going around destroying things. And I think they are making a very slow but steady impact on the youth. Yeah, they're doing a good job.
I was at a meeting last night, which was for the devolution, and I was actually talking to, I can't remember her name now. Lady's name, Migladry. I know.
Nisa.
That's Nisa. I do apologise. I couldn't remember her name. And just saying that at the moment for the SEAG, they're nearly ready for the building to be opened up. So for the evenings, so it's going to give more opportunities coming up. And like I say, I think it's an absolutely fantastic project. Yes, Councillor Ian?
Yeah, Chair. One thing because we obviously hear a lot about the Byron Road lot, what's happening with the youth club in Waterside? Because it just seems that everything's focused on the North Valley, and it's quite a distance for the youth of the South Valley. So how are they being dealt with? What's in place for those people? Is this all focused on just this area?
I think that would definitely be a question we can raise to the SEAG.
Because I do know they have sessions down at the youth club. I don't know anything about it.
They used to have sessions with football down at the Waterside, play the Mugger there.
Yep.
Whether they want to pick those up again, I can always ask them to see what their intentions are.
Okay. Any other questions to be raised? No. Okay. Moving on to item 12, which is the Safer, Greener and Healthier Streets Workshop. To receive an update on the sessions held and an indication of what we can expect from the project going forwards.
Okay, so I don't know if you've had a chance to look at they kindly passed me the slides that they used for the project, and obviously a brief outline of what was discussed, and then what they're going to do going forward. It's mainly just for your information. There were the main things that were talked about were making the streets safer sort of near the school. For the, if you, obviously there is a map of that area, so it's just specifically in that area. And helping the travel to that area as well. So some areas just outside will be counted in there as well. But it was mainly there was a lot of objections to the one-way system, the current one-way system. People were saying that that maybe something could be done with that. They were also looking at where they could plant trees in that area just to make it better. But like I say, they're taking everyone's comments on board, and then they're kind of going to come back with a more detailed sort of plan of what they want to do. So a more detailed proposal, and they have said that once they get that, the leader will actually come and present that to you, just to so that you've got more of an idea of where they're coming from and what they're intending to do.
Yep. No more questions? Okay. Oh, sorry, I do apologise. Councillor Ellis.
Yes, we sent a representative from the Waterside Action Group and the Tom Hill group, and they were disappointed at the first one because the area had already been decided. And I sent an email and they said it was because of data that had been collected around Lord Street School. But we were given the impression that it wouldn't be just that particular area. And initially we just thought that it had already been decided before we got the consultation. So that was a little bit disappointing. However, we did send in our recommendations for the Waterside area, and I believe that after this particular area has been discussed, there might be some money for places like Primmett, which is another difficult parking situation there. Yeah.
Councillor Patricia.
Yes, Chair, thank you. Similar to what Councillor Manns just said, it looks like it has been preeminated. There are other serious areas of obstructions and congestion within Colne, not just here in this dog, but it looks like a dog on the joint. But there are other serious areas. There's in my ward up in Colne Central, just past the commercial. You know, if people want to come into town, that's where they'll park. So, and it makes it difficult for people who live there and also drive down Skipton Road. So, and as I'll agree with Councillor Mann, down by Primmett and down the side streets there. This is it's a good idea, but they could have given us a bit more notice before they decided, so that we could have put our input in and maybe add little pockets, so that we're tackling more areas rather than just one big area to see if it works. Thank you, Chair.
Councillor Ellis.
Oh, yes. And I also wanted to mention that actually there was nobody that was from that area at the meeting, the initial meeting. And I would have thought that they could have contacted people like the school, for the Parents Association, the governors, and those sorts of people to be represented for that area.
They did actually come to the second meeting.
They did come to the
They
second
did,
meeting.
yes.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Good.
Any other comments or queries? No. Okay.
No. I think the idea was obviously they need to concentrate somewhere, and it's easier doing it, just choosing one area. Obviously, if what they do is successful, then there may be an opportunity to roll things out in different areas. Yeah. If you want to come and sit up, yeah.
Thought it would be easier to give people a bit of a sort of understanding of where it's come from. So to understand why this area was chosen, you were right in terms of data. I can't remember who said data about data being input as part of that, but that comes in lots of different sort of forms. So where the school is obviously a key location. Traffic routes is another. Deprivation is another. But also there are things about deliverability. So we know that Primmett and Fisher Moor are causing major issues around traffic movements, but actually we can't really do much there. So we need to focus on an area where you can actually deliver something which works to fulfil the objections to the Levelling Up Fund through active travel. So yes, I take all of your comments on board, completely agree pretty much in everything that you said, that we'd like to do things in other areas, but the funding is there for a particular purpose to deliver something, and that's where it can be done. So it sounds like it was sort of predetermined, but there was an awful lot of run up and to the point where the workshops started to happen. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now we know.
Everybody happy? Yep. Okay, we'll move on to item number 13, which is to review the information provided and consider if Colne Council would like to support the project of the Hedgehog Highway project.
What do you do with that?
Councillor Ian.
Thank you, Chair. I'm really pleased to see this. It's about time something was done on this level. Yep, I think we should support this every inch of the way, you know, because hedgehogs do have rights and we need to preserve them, protect them. And I think it's also a good way, as well as linking in with the schools again, and getting the schools involved and, you know, more of an understanding about our little spiky friends.
Yeah, I
So I
think
would
that is a good
definitely, if this
idea.
is going for, I would definitely propose this.
Are we all in favour? Yeah, okay, all in favour. So it is £150 for a box of 50. These gateways.
Sorry, can you say that again? 150.
£150
for a box of 50 passageways or gates as they are.
Does anyone have any preference of how many boxes we get, or just the one?
Or do we go to the schools and let them know about it? We order as a central point.
They do come with leaflets that obviously we can distribute to the schools, etc. And put on social media. To advertise that we have them. I would suggest that we just have some at the town hall that anyone can come and get if they want to.
Yeah. Oh, Councillor Ian.
I don't know.
Yeah, could I be sort of overly optimistic and sort of suggest that we do 3 boxes to start with?
Right.
Are we giving them away free, or will we be?
Yes.
And again, linking into schools, especially I think that's vital. And that again, you know, because obviously the younger a person is when they start to be sort of taught to appreciate wildlife, because one day they're going to be parents and adults. So I think it's important. So definitely 3 boxes.
I think letting the youth groups know as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Are we all happy with that?
Are we happy with 3 boxes?
I'd be tempted to order 1 or 2 and see how they go first, because we can always go back and get some more.
Yeah, I presume we can always order more if we need to.
So you happy with 2? Happy with 2? Yeah. We've got a proposal there for 2 boxes. If you're all in favour, can I have a show of hands? Yep, majority. Love that one. So did I get a proposal?
Yes.
We did, yeah. Okay, so that's one done. Section 14, right to 14, which is Colne Town Council safeguarding policy. To consider the presented policy for adoption by the full council.
Anyone got any comments?
Councillor Fisher?
Yeah, definitions of abuse on the first line. It says physical, emotional, mental and sexual. It should also be verbal.
Sorry, I have lost one.
So on item 4, definition 4. Top line, it should also be verbal. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
This has mainly come about because a lot request safeguarding policies for funding and things like that. So this is how it's come about, really. It's mainly come about because generally when we're applying for funding, people ask if we've got a safeguarding policy, and we have it mentioned in certain areas, but we didn't have a specific policy for it. So.
Councillor Anthony?
Do we have a designated safeguarding officer?
That would be me.
Councillor Patricia?
Who's our dedicated first aider?
That's also me.
Chair, we will need 2
We
dedicated
do,
first aiders.
all the staff are first aid trained.
Thank you very much, Chair.
Has anybody got any more questions or queries? No. In that case, can I have a proposal and a seconder, please? Proposed by Councillor Anthony and seconded by Councillor Ian. Can I show hands all in favour? Yep, unanimous. Thank you. Item 15. Tour of Colne.
I don't know if, because Nathan was the one that spoke to Jeff, so I will let him explain.
So summer last year, we had a tour of the town hall with Jeff Cranby, and we also had it filmed and edited, and it went out on social media. It's had a really good response. The video that we put out, I think Jeff's been in about 10 times for copies of it on the disc. So he likes sending it off to like history groups and that sort of stuff. It came in, it might have been last week, to ask if the council would be interested in doing a tour of Colne and videoing that, so that all Jeff's information is captured, pretty much. So he did ask if the council would be interested in having the tour of Colne and having it filmed.
Councillor Anthony?
I think it's a wonderful idea. We've got a very underutilised history of Colne. It needs to be taught more to the younger generation so then they can carry it on and pass on the knowledge and pass on the history. I learned some new things about just this evening, and I think it should be something that our history should be celebrated, and I think it should be more celebrated and should be more on display.
Councillor Patricia first.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I know most people in this room will know, but I'm not too sure about everybody who's watching. But Colne is the only town in East Lancashire not mentioned in the Doomsday Book, so we should be very proud of that. I don't think Jeff will be going back that far, but you never know. Some areas of Colne may still exist from the Doomsday area, so it would be interesting, not only for us but for our citizens to learn about it. So, good idea.
He is very thorough.
Councillor Ian?
Thank you, Chair. I'm fortunate to have been on 2 previous walks with Jeff Granby over the years, and it's incredible. One thing that surprised me was the South Valley of Colne Waterside. I think it was in the 1800s when Colne had the town fairs, the quarterly fairs. At some point, they became so rowdy and boisterous that the well-to-do folks on the hill were objected. So instead of stopping them, they moved the location down to Waterside. And the reason for moving it given was that the inhabitants of Waterside were so boisterous and rowdy, they would never notice the difference. And it's actually true. You know, things like that. The location of the Blum Spout, everybody disputes it. Jeff knows the exact location. And on one of the walks, they actually showed us where it was. Various things like that. There's a street sign very close to the town centre that's, I think it's still there. When all the street signs were repainted to the new borough colours, this one street sign was missed out and it's still in the original colours of the old street signs. You know, things like that. So, you know, it's I would say, yeah, it's fascinating.
So I think there was a post that Councillor Sarah Coburn-Price put on the other day, was to try and get information from the street names for the history of Colne, to get it out there. If we're looking at the moment, the heritage of Colne and the area, the history, the culture, and everything that goes with it, it's not just for us to know about it, but if we can tell that story on a wider audience, we've got the Blues Festival coming from that. But if we can get more tourism into this area, people who come to this area, they might come to oh, love this area, going to stay. That's something that we could look at using or utilising. And I think it would be a great idea. Councillor Dean.
This could lead on to greater things as well. One thing that's always sort of got to me is that with so much history in Colne that can go back, and yet there's no, all we got as a museum is a small display. Yes, we have the Heritage Centre, but I think we've enough in this area to have our own museum in Colne.
Yeah.
And I think at some point we should seriously look at finding some premises that we can use as a museum.
I think the town hall would be fair. I think the town hall would be fair.
Yeah, Shaka, you know, yeah, somewhere that we could actually have a proper, because I do know, I'm not going to mention names, but there was a certain gentleman in Colne that when the old streets were demolished, he salvaged the old street signs, and they are now reposited in his garage for safekeeping. Now that would be useful, put them on display, things like that. Also, like one thing is like that, whereas there is now, up to the early 1960s, it was a Royal Army Ordnance Squad depot that people have forgotten about. So putting that information into a museum, I think it would be a big step forward to bring people into Colne and to put us on the map.
Yep, Councillor David.
Yeah. When we set up the background we got a set of minutes from this chamber when it was a Colne Town Council. When they discussed they discussed the opening in Pendle, they also on the same meeting discussed selling ice cream in the park, and they turned it down. And we have a copy of that minute and everything. So I think the fact there's loads of history in this town that people want to know about, and you make that decision now, it won't take 10 seconds to make a decision whether you're going to sell ice cream in park, but they, as gentlemen of that age and who decided against it.
Really?
What was the reason they get actually declining sale of ice cream?
Look at the grass.
It wasn't in keeping.
How times have changed.
Well, dramatically, and I think that's what it changes. In my lifetime, I've seen tons of changes in the way councils are run, the different decisions. There was no town council for a long, long time. And I saw from individual town councils through to boroughs, and now we're back to town councils again. The fact there's been that much change, and as you said, Jeff Granby will go back a lot.
lot further than I ever did. But I were present when Jeff Granby did the talks in here, and we must have had 5, 6 tours, and you'd be amazed at the people that came. They were local people from Colne. They weren't necessary historians and people like that. I were talking to people that I'd met around Colne in loads of other aspects. They were interested in the town. And I think it's a great idea.
Councillor Pat?
We've got to get Jeff Granby before he disappears.
Aye.
We've got to. But not just that. I've got 16 I've got 13 grandchildren. They all think I'm crackers because I say I love coal. I've lived here 75 years. I've watched it change. Not necessarily for the better most of the time, but these children growing up now know nothing. And nobody's telling them anything. And I think it's time that somebody else besides Jeff learned something to pass on to these kids, because they're missing everything that we seen and went before us. I know so much about Colne, and it's so interesting, isn't it? It's a brilliant place to live, well, not to live, but to be part of.
But
And we should tell the kids, they need to know more than anybody.
I think, because I must admit, because I'm only recently new to Colne, only about 20 odd years. And yet I'm aware of the talks that Jeff has given, but actually knowing where, when, that's a different story.
Yeah.
So that to me is that not knowing part of it.
Yeah.
But if we can get, like I say, if he's willing to do more and get more information, get that information, we need to get it out there more. So people are aware of it. People all know it's not just like once a year or 3 times a year, but more concentrated marketing, if you like, not just online, but
You go to Jeff's talks and they may be 2 hours, still there 5 hours later. He will talk forever on Colne. He just knows so much.
he's got a passion then.
It's just a shame that people don't make use of it. You know, and especially the young ones. I mean, a lot of the old ones. I was sat talking to an old lady who was home and a good few months ago. She died about 6 weeks after. It's not across that day. And the things we talked about, she lived to be told than me and forgotten some things. I'd forgotten some things. And we talked and we sat there from 2:15 to 7:15. And we didn't realise we'd been together for 5 hours sat at Kid Colne. And that's how interesting Colne is. So, and that's just 2 old ladies talking together. The kids need to know as well. They do.
With the fact that Jeff and possibly Nathan are going to be actually filming and putting it on DVD or online in the cloud, it'll be there for future generations to learn the history, the name, what the name means, the fact that it was in the it was mentioned in Doomsday, where it came from, how it was came, and everything that's happened since. As my colleagues have said, a rich history. It's got to go online. It's got to go on the cloud. It's got to go on DVD, and it's got to go on the radio as well, so that people can listen and they can watch and they can learn.
So I'll take it then that the general consensus that you're all in agreement. So I'm going to ask for a proposal and a seconder. Take your pick. Councillor Pat's got her hand up as well. That was the fastest I've seen her hand up all night. So you got a proposal. Can I have a show of hands, please, all in favour? Yep, that is unanimous. Thank you very much. Moving on to item 16, which is reports from the borough and district councils to consider if Colne Town Council could add this as a standing item on the full council agenda.
Yeah, so this was brought up by Councillor Coburn Price at the last meeting. Basically, I think it's something that generally a lot of the parishes do anyway. Just to have that report, so that we're more in touch and we know what's going on. Really, I think it's quite a good idea. whether we need to do it every month or whether it's just when we have something to report. Really.
Decides what is what.
Well, well, they will, because obviously they'll have been to the meetings and so forth, and they know what's in the pipeline. And if it concerns Colne, then it also concerns us. So, yeah, like yeah, Councillor Sutcliffe, he would probably be our representative for LCC. And so any information that he thinks we need to know, then can be brought up under that item. So.
Councillor Ian, you've got a question?
Yes, Chair, thank you. That's actually a good idea. Hopefully as well, it will give us a chance to make this a two-way process where we can put questions to that person, asking why things haven't been done. For example, why have the potholes on certain streets been left for years and years? Why have the grates on adopted back street not been emptied for 10, 15 years? Things like that, basically we've got a way of making these people accountable. As it is, they hide behind closed doors in some mysterious place and we never find out what's going on.
I don't actually think that that's what the item is for. I mean, obviously, any potholes, etc., we should be reporting, and it obviously goes through that reporting process, and should get dealt with as a matter of process. This is basically so that any plans from LCC concerning Colne or the Borough Council, that we actually get knowledge of it in good time, really, I suppose, rather than being just hearing on the grapevine. So, and it's a chance for us to become more involved with them as well. So,
yep. Councillor David.
Thank you, Chairman. I think basically it's a good idea to do it. I think it's something we should try, because if we don't try it, we won't know whether it will work or not. Hopefully it will work. But can I make a suggestion? Obviously, on a lot of our agendas, we are time restricted, and it's only 2 meetings ago we had to move standing orders and extend it. And I think we ran to about 3 hours and ended up being here well 10 o'clock. Also, I'm wary that some members may come, such as Ash or whoever it might be at the time, and to have a short session halfway through a meeting or at the end, it seems a long time to expect them to sit here waiting for an item that's halfway through the agenda and they're only going to be here 5 minutes or so. So could I suggest that we time limit the amount for this item, similar to what there is with the time limit on public forum, and that we put the item on the agenda every month for a trial to see how it goes, and we put it immediately after public forum, so it would become item 6, and time limit it for 15 minutes. And if we run with that for a few months, if we find it needs tweaking or altering in any way, we can alter it then. And I would move that we do that and try it like that. So move it immediately after public forum, so that if someone from County does come, or someone from Pendle for that matter, we don't expect them to sit here all the way through the meeting and then give us 5 minutes of their time at the end, that we can bring it forward so that it's after public forum. And I'll move that.
I would just put the annotation on there because that's going to be information only.
Yeah.
So it won't need to be voted on ahead of time. It's just for our information.
Yeah.
So I've got a proposal for there. We've got seconded by
Councillor
Thank you. Is everybody in favour? Show of hands. Unanimous? Yep. That's great. Item 17. The Great British Rhythm and Blues Festival 2024 to receive an update on the progression of the organisation and operational elements for the 24th festival.
So Colne Blues Society are about 2 weeks away from announcing the full lineup for this year's festival. They're just waiting on a couple more contracts to come back. We've seen a draft of the lineup, and it looks like a good lineup yet again. The operational elements of the festival have all been booked and arranged, so that's for stage security, waste management, road closure, traffic management. All the main stages have been booked, so we've got the Pendle Hippodrome, the Exchange Project stage, and Little Theatre. Blue Society are still talking to the fringe venues to get as many fringe venues on board as possible. Tickets, we've sold 122 tickets so far and 23 camping pictures, which we can expect an increase as soon as the full lineup's released. And the marketing from Scott Dawson has started on social media, so we are starting to drip feed main acts and other bits of stuff across social media as well. But that's pretty much it for now.
Okay. Thank you very much. Moving on to item 18, which is the Colne Neighbourhood Plan, to consider the details for an event to relaunch the Neighbourhood Plan Advisory Committee.
Right, so I did speak to the chairman of the advisory committee this afternoon. She's wanting an evening event. We've looked at some dates. Basically, she wanted she would give some kind of a presentation as well, and we said we would have refreshments available. We've said sort of third week in February or last week in February, to give us time to promote it and to get people interested and to attend the session, and hopefully maybe to come to future meetings for the neighbourhood plan. So the date that was preferable was Wednesday, the 21st of February. Now I don't know if Sarah can definitely make that. Other dates were the 22nd of February, which obviously a Thursday, and then the following Wednesday, the 28th of February, but the 21st was preferable. If it's an evening, maybe 6 till 8, something along those lines.
Councillor Chair, Ian.
Thank you,
6
Chair.
till 8.
I think this is a really good idea, and that to keep this, because obviously it's so easy to put something like a neighbourhood plan into place and then just sit back and rest on your laurels. To be able to take this forward, to have a look at it, to see how it's gone so far, and also to look at any omissions we may have made in the plan, and also to get other people involved and try to get through to the public. This is not just an exclusive town councillors only club. You know, we need people sitting on this committee to join in so we can take this forward for the benefit of the people of Colne. So yeah, I'm all for this. I'll definitely agree with this one.
Okay, so we're happy for the 21st?
Yeah.
Move it, second it. Can I have a mover in seconds? Okay, got Ian, Councillor Ian, Councillor Patricia. All in favour? Yep, unanimous. Next one item is item 19, which is planning. This is someone.
It's just the one.
Okay. So the first application is 234/0840/VAR. Land to the south of 117 Greenfield Road, Colne. The proposal I've got here is variation of condition. Vary condition 2 plans, condition 4 disposal of foul water, condition 5 disposal of surface water, condition 11 landscaping scheme of planning permission 210692 FUL. That's what I've got on my sheet.
Mhm.
That's the one.
You should have them somewhere.
So it looks like it's a relocation of wastewater and foul water with landscaping. Has anybody got any issues with this one? Yeah, councillor Ian.
Thank you, Chair. I think the only real question, because it's very vague, is Greenfield Road, is this in the conservation area? If it is this in keeping with the conservation area, and does it have a detrimental impact? If the answer is no to those, then obviously there's not a problem.
Well, 2 of these will be underground services.
It's the landscaping.
So, but then it does mention on the item, 3rd item, condition 11, landscaping scheme.
And again, if this doesn't have a negative impact on the conservation area or the surrounding area, then obviously there's not be a problem. It's just a formality.
So basically just to the subject to conservation area. Okay. So the next one, which is 24/0008/FUL. Retaining wall and gardens adjacent to number 4 to 10 Peter Birtwistle Close, Colne. Proposal of says full or partial rebuilding and associated remedial works to retaining walls.
Does anyone need any clarification or anything if you want to ask councillor Clegg?
Where is the what is the damage to the walls that need repairing and rebuilding?
Please.
If you can clarify, please.
The wall is on the right-hand side near the top when you immediately turn down Gary Lane off Keighley Road. The wall is on the right-hand side going down there. There's a very narrow pavement. The wall is about, at the point where the work needed to be done, is about 20 feet high on the roadside. It's not on the other side. On the other side, it's only about 6 foot into Gardens where bungalows are. The wall is leaning over considerably to the fact that the pavement's about 2 foot to 30 inches wide. The lamppost is right on the edge of the pavement on the curb. So there's 2 foot between the wall and the pavement and the lamppost at the bottom. At the top of the lamp, if you look at it, it's about 1 foot off. So you can tell that the wall is leaning out by about 1 foot. The reason why it's leaning out is all the earth that is behind it. Yeah, it's all shifted. So the wall needs to come down as far as they need to take it down when they look into it, thoroughly. And then it needs to be built up back up as a wall as high as it can possibly be built without ending up in the same situation where it's going to fall over again.
Thank you, Chair.
Councillor Ian.
Thank you, Chair. Oh, do we have reassurances they are going to reuse the stone? Because it's an old wall and it's part of the heritage of the area. And I wouldn't like to see them sort of like take the wall down and decide to put a modern wall in its place. It would be totally out of keeping with that area. We had this problem, I think, at the bottom of that site when they were basically told to reinstate a wall in its original condition. Are we going to have the same guarantee on this?
So if we have the annotation that the retaining wall, if it's rebuilt, is to use the same or similar materials
Yeah,
to keep with it as it is now.
yeah.
There's no reason not to use that wall that's already there to rebuild the wall.
Yeah.
They undernawed about at the bottom because some of it went missing, didn't it? Yeah.
So I've just met that annotation. Yeah. So try and keep the same style as it is now
Yes,
when they go forward. That's so if we have that as a
we need to
annotation.
use the same stone,
Yeah.
like we should have done down at the bottom, like they should have done down at the bottom. What they didn't do, they just did what they wanted, didn't they? They might have used some of it. They didn't do it.
Okay.
What it says in the actual application is to use the same stone. If there is a surplus of stone because of having to lower the height of the wall by about 2 feet, is that stone will be used for some strengthening buttresses on the inside.
That'll do.
By the nodding heads, I think that's a general agreement then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
No comment, I'll just welcome it.
That will be a welcome then, as long as they're reusing the same materials. Yep. Okay, moving on to item 3, which is 24/0013/FUL. Haywood Farm, Skipton Old Road, Colne. I've got on here, which is for a change of use and conversion of a large stone barn into 2 dwellings. Demolition and rebuild of the cart shed to create 1 dwelling. Demolition of the existing modern Dutch barn and associated hard and soft landscaping.
Yeah. I'm just wondering if it's there.
Councillor Ian?
Thank you, Chair. I've got a feeling of deja vu. Has this been up before?
I was just thinking that.
It just seems, because I think at the time there was not a problem with it. Especially when it was mentioned that the demolition of the existing Dutch barn, the modern Dutch barn, would actually improve the appearance of the area. I don't know, can anybody remember if there was any issues raised with the previous planning application?
I can't remember that there was any.
Yeah.
Change of use.
That's the only difference to the original one. That's the addition of the notes concept on the last time it was submitted.
So we had last time, we had no comments from last time.
Yeah, I think that should be
So
okay.
it's a demolition and a rebuild.
Yeah, I think on that then, to obviously if it's going to be rebuilt, to rebuild in keeping with the original design of the building or the original building materials, so it fits in.
It looks like this one.
Yeah, I think that's about it.
I think
Yeah.
it satisfies.
Yeah, it does satisfy, so therefore there should be not a problem.
Okay. No worries. Moving on to item 4, which is for information only. Which is 234/0025/AP/refuse, which was 220856 FUL, Green End, Small Holding, Lenchers Road, Colne. This is
just to inform us that he has lodged an appeal.
Councillor Ian?
You Chair. This is one that goes back decades. And there's been a long-standing battle between this gentleman and the certain former councillors, borough councillors. And I'm surprised it's still going on. I think there's a lot more to this than meets the eye, but I can't see it, personally can't see a problem there. There's been a lot of issues between this gentleman and certain councillors from the past.
Like, I mean, it's like I said, it's just an appeal that's been lodged. So for us, it's just for information only.
Yeah.
So moving on to section 5, which is, not number 5.
Oh, yeah.
Which is also a enforcement appeal, 230032 AP enforcement regarding PLE/22/0883, which is Green End, Small Holding, Lynchers Road, Colne. Appeal against enforcement notice, so it's information only as well. And number 6, which is 24/0010/FUL, which is 29 Newmarket Street. Which is
It's actually, yeah, it was a late one. Yeah. I only got notice this afternoon, so we have added it on. It's from AGRN Child Services. So it's actually to a change of use from retail to a family assessment centre. So it is a shop above one of the houses, just down from you know where our micro pubs are. It's just at the bottom of there.
The whole building, are they asking for the whole building or just?
Just the above, yeah.
Is it gonna be absolute for?
no,
No, they're changing it from retail. It was a shop to a family assessment centre. So that's use class C2.
Nope. No worries.
Yeah, we don't have what's that service that we don't have anymore? Citizens Advice. Yeah, we don't have one in Colne anymore.
I thought they were in.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't so long ago, I was looking online. I was given a telephone number for the Shore Start Centre that there was a CAB inside there.
They used to be on certain days, but it's not there anymore.
So they need to update that because
Even the office in Nelson, we all 2 days a week now.
Yeah.
Especially
if you look for CAB online, that's it says it's there. Okay, so moving on to section 20, correspondence received. Details of any correspondence that the full council has received that requires presenting or reviewing at full council.
Fine, actual. There are a few items. The first one I will take is the Gibb Hill Nature Reserve. If we can find it. We'll have a double-sided.
$30 an hour.
This is basically a request from David Walker at Pendle. To put some money aside for the maintenance of the Gibb Hill Nature Reserve. they've basically come up with an amount that they want both Nelson Town Council and Colne Town Council to contribute to. But they've said that that doesn't include any tree work or anything like that. I'm just trying to. I would read it out to you if I could find it. No.
Obviously, I've got the email.
So it says, the Borough Council's corporate plan has a priority around proud and connected communities and places with a key action for operational services covering biodiversity and local nature reserve. Milestones within the action include working with Colne and Nelson Town Council on future management arrangements for Gibb Hill. I am aware some discussions may have already taken place within your respective town councils, and I believe in particular, Colne may have been against a shared management structure, preferring to establish a formally constituted Friends or Woodland Nature Reserve group, as we have in other areas of the borough. We are happy to work with both councils to establish such a group, if it is decided this is the preferred option for Gibb Hill. To maintain the new nature reserve going forward, operational services would ask both councils to contribute a figure totaling £1,500 between them to act as the basic repairs and maintenance budget for Gibb Hill. It should be noted, however, that this amount will not cover anything beyond basic maintenance and any work required to trees or other infrastructure following proactive inspection or a reactive response to a report of damage may result in additional bids to both councils being made. To move this forward, could I ask that this subject is included upon the next town council agenda so members can discuss and advise on their chosen way forward?
Councillor Ian?
Thank you, Chair. I believe there is an embryonic Friends group of Gibb Hill who were instrumental in actually putting this forward as a local nature reserve. I think that is definitely the way forward, because from experience with the council, letting them take responsible for it, it will never work. It would just be left to rack and ruin. I've seen this happen in various other places in Pendle. And I think, yeah, by encouraging them. Also, the figure of 1,500, is that between both the town councils?
Between both. So
Yeah.
whether it's 50-50 or.
No, because I was just thinking, because the bulk of the Gibb Hill Nature Reserve is actually in Nelson. There's only a small part technically in Colne. And I think this any sort of spending should be proportionate to the area under each town council. So Nelson dig deep and pay the most. I think that's only fair.
But I think the idea of a friends group is mainly because if it's a constituted group, they can apply for funding and grants for a whole host of different things, whereas the council couldn't. So I would have thought that that would be the preferred option to go with. I mean, we do have a nature reserve grant, which this year it stood at 15,000 and will be the same next year. Whether we use that as part of this, and then obviously encourage any group that may be set up to put a bid in, obviously for that funding. But we did limit it to a certain amount per nature reserve, and we did say that it would be for all nature reserves in Colne. But it will be for them to actually put fill out the application form and put a bid in for a funding request into the town council.
Chair, I think what we should do is we should also liaise with Nelson Town Council and find out, and yeah, as I say, liaise with them regarding this and see where their what their stance is. I can't actually recall. I know Nelson were adamant on keeping this as a reserve, as a nature reserve. So I think we need to collaborate with them on this. And also, as Councillor Ian has said, regarding a Friends or Woodland Nature Group, try and organise, if one hasn't already organised, help organise one, so that, as Gina has said, they will then be able to apply for funding, not only from the two local councils, but from Nature UK. I think it's Nature UK. What Environmental Nature UK, which also does environmental grants for such projects as this.
If I remember rightly, the GIBIL is currently undergoing the process.
I think it has been
Has it been
formalised
accepted?
now, yes. Yeah.
Right. Councillor Ian?
Thank you, Chair. Could I suggest as well, because obviously this is involving two town councils, they're obviously going to be discussing it their end. Could I strongly recommend that we have a joint meeting between interested persons from both town councillors, so we can sit down and discuss this and all sort of end up singing from the same hymn sheet, instead of Nelson deciding what they want to do, we're deciding what, you know. So I think a joint meeting would be, yeah, with, you know, I was going to say all interested persons, because you could then link into the local groups. I think there is, before there is an embryonic one, or maybe, you know, residents who are keen on this, so we can all sit down together. Yeah, so, you know, can we have a meeting so we can all discuss this together?
Yep. Councillor David?
Yes, Chairman. Initially, my first reaction is this bid for the funding that they're asking for now needs sending to the FES committee at the next meeting, mainly because, well, we've only just got this, so we haven't even had time to look through it properly. But all the funding from the various grant pots of money that we've got, it categorically says in there that the final decision on who gets what, or and what is granted and what isn't, the decision is down to FES. So it will have to go there. So I'll suggest we put the item on the next FES agenda, which is in 2 weeks, I think. It could be 3, but it's either 2 or 3. It's 6th of February, isn't it? Yeah. So we'll send it there, which will give Gina time to ring and contact David Walker and find out exactly what is happening. And also, I would like to ask Gina to request a joint meeting with, say, a couple of members of Colne Town Council and the clerk, a couple of members of Nelson Town Council and the clerk, and an officer and 2 councillors from Pendle to try and sit down and come forward with some consensus as to how they want to move forward. Now, we do have a pot of money which is restricted just for nature reserves. We've had it in budget this year, and it is in the next financial year as well. And part of the nature reserve is in Colne, there's no doubt about that. I think it is more like 60-40, but I don't think it's a good arguing point to say there's a, you know, 3 blades of grass more in one town than other. I think we ought to say it's half and half and end of, rather than have an argument. I think that's the way forward there. But if they can then come back and have a meeting and decide how they want to manage it, that's up to them. But my general view is the better way forward is like the other 3 nature reserves in Colne, because there's part of Ball Groves in Colne, there's the Alkincoats Woodland Nature Reserve, and there's the Greenfield Nature Reserve, and they all are working relatively well. they are working with a friends group and sort of volunteers. And I think that's the way forward, because they can apply for grant funding that a council can't apply for.
Yeah.
And I think the way forward is they have really seriously got to get their heads together and get the friends group up and running again and get it fully constituted as a friends group, and then apply for some funding. And they would equally be able to apply for funding off us. But they'd have to find the match funding. But with it being a split between Nelson and Colne, they'd find the match funding easy, wouldn't they? Because if they ask us for a grant, they ask Nelson for a grant, don't they? So it's match funded, and I think that is the way forward. So I would like to move that we send it to FES for the initial 750 quid that they're asking for. And in the meantime, before the next FES meeting, Gina has discussions with David Walker and tries to get a meeting set up with representatives of Pendle Council, Colne Town Council and Nelson Town Council. And I'll move that.
I'll second that, Chair.
Yep. Happy, all in favour? Yep. That's great. Next piece of correspondence.
Okay, so if we can take the application for the definitive map modification order. This is for an addition of public footpaths across land off Knots Lane and Lynch's Road. I've had a chance to look at the map. If anyone's got any comments?
Make one comment, Chairman. I think it's something we should support. Because if we go back 60 blob years, which is a long while, when I first started work, I worked down in Waterside. And we used to have an hour for us lunch, which was, well, you know, a greedy sort of person like me usually finished the lunch in 5 minutes, so they're 55 minutes bored with nothing to do. And I quite often used to walk round there 60 odd years ago, and there was all the footpaths that they are trying to get, you know, regularised now were there then, and people were using them then. And I think it's about time that those footpaths got registered properly, and do it, you know, which makes that piece of land more secure going forward in the future. So I think it's something that we should support, and I certainly would support it.
Councillor Ian.
Thank you, Chair. If you're proposing, I'll definitely second that. I think this is important as well, because I know historically, going back early 2000s, there was a lot of controversy when somebody put forward a proposal to have that area designated as a local village green. County Council called for an inquiry to be held at Nelson Town Hall, so all parties could put the views forward, including the owner of the land through his barrister. One of the arguments was these footpaths that was in place. County at that time and the landowner stated in public there was no designated right of way through that field, through the Lynchers, which confused everybody. I'm glad to see since then, mysteriously, this non-existent footpath has suddenly reappeared. But only that one. I know there's 2 or 3 footpaths. We were also told that any footpath that went past the ponds is on private land, as the ponds were leased out to Colne Angling Association, and they were the only ones who had rights of access to that part of the land. So obviously this is now undoing a lot of damage from the past, and I definitely second this one.
Councillor Patricia, you had something?
Yeah, I agree. This the right of way on footpaths has been a rambler's rights for millennia. The fact that they were blocked off shouldn't have happened. You're still getting people up and down the country now having problems trying to access public rights of way, public footpaths. So the fact that we're now actually dedicating these can only be a good thing. Fully supported.
Any further comments? Councillor,
Been there all my life, well, one in particular, definitely. And isn't it on the, ordinance maps that walkers get? When they go in the drop the most wherever. It's on there, so they want to get on it, but we've had a time when nobody could vote. Yeah, but it's always been there.
I think the paths have always been there, but this is formally adopting them as footpaths now. This is them formally adopting them as footpaths, whereas before they haven't been on the map. The paths were there, but they weren't recognised. Yeah.
okay. So we've got the sport, general sport, do you want to show hands?
Yes, we've got yeah.
So we've got a proposal, we've had seconded by.
Yeah.
Councillor. Can I have a show of hands, please, all in favour? Yep. Any more?
Okay, yeah, there are. So you will notice that I have had 3 letters from the junior council. So basically this is obviously to make you aware that obviously Colne now does have a Colne Junior Council, which is members of which are actually members of school councils for the schools in the area. Now it's being trialled at the moment with a few schools. Obviously we're hoping to offer that out to all the schools in Colne going forward. So they have decided and chosen areas that they want to concentrate on. Mainly it was parks, play areas, road safety, litter, and things like that, basically. So you've got the 3 letters. One of them, Christchurch, were particularly interested in road safety. As they've said, they get a lot of people speeding past the school. So it was mentioned that we do have our speed indicator devices now. We have 3 of. Now I did speak to LCC, and they did say that the only restrictions near schools is that they have to be more than 100 meters away from the school. So whichever lamppost that we decide we're going to put it on needs to be at least 100 meters away, like either side. So I have been round with one of the lensmen to identify lampposts that we could use to put them on near the schools. So the next step is for me to relay this information to LCC. They will then do their desktop assessments for the lampposts. And if they feel necessary, they will do a site visit. But if they have to do a site visit, then there will be a cost involved in that. But I think it's only a small charge. So I am on with that. I still have a couple of, I basically did the top end. So I have the schools at the bottom end of Colne to do yet. But that is what we're going to do for that. The other one was obviously with regards to litter picking, which we've obviously said we will try and get them involved in Treasure Our Town when we do that. So that's how we intend to try and incorporate that for them to help with that. And obviously it will be publicised as well that's what we're doing. And they give reports to their school as to, you know, what I think it's good for them to see that they can make a difference and things can happen from what they say. And it may actually be worth putting this also as a standing item on full council. They do meet once every 2 months, I think it is. So there will be an update from each meeting. So I can just give a brief update on what was discussed and what they want to achieve. The other letter again was about graffiti. Now not really sure there's that much we can do about that, apart from getting it removed. I mean, we can try and liaise more with CI, I would have thought, to try, they do work with some of the children in certain areas to see if they have any ideas. I know that the bid also do that. There are the antisocial behaviour meetings as well, which we can sort of try and look at. So really, this was just to bring this to your attention, really, just to show you that they are trying to make a difference. And I think it's a good thing to have a junior council. But I will respond to all letters just to tell them what we're planning and how we will try and assist with their queries and their issues.
Councillor Hollis?
Yeah, I think it's a great idea to get the youngsters involved in the community. I was just wanting to know, our SPIDs, have any been put up?
They haven't as yet. We didn't actually get round to it. But yeah, it's on the to-do list.
Yeah,
to
but
set
they're
that.
ready to go.
Yes.
Yeah. And will you be able to tell us before they go the locations?
The idea for the next locations was Keithley. Is it no?
We did talk
Skipton.
about Shaw
Keithley
Street.
Road, Lange Bridge, Shaw Street, and Skipton Old Road.
Thank you.
Councillor In?
Thank you, Chair. It's the first I've heard of the junior council. I think this is really good because for years and years now, all decisions made for the people of Colne have been made by adults. And I think it's about time that the young people were actually given some involvement and their own input. Obviously, they are not old enough to vote. They're not, but they have a voice. And I think their voice for years has been ignored. What I would like to see at some point in the future, possibly, is for a member of the Colne Junior Council to be a co-opted member of Colne Town Council on the full town council meetings, because that way they can actually, we can listen to what they have to say. They have a voice, and actually we should never forget that. They are important. They are our future of the town, you know. It's okay us making decisions, but it's those young people who are going to have to live with the consequences of those decisions in the future.
I would suggest that because they're having their own meetings anyway, as it's just been explained, that give a report back after every meeting they've had. I personally would like to see somebody. What age group are they?
They're years 5 and 6, so they're 9 and 10.
About 9 and 10-year-old having to come in here tonight and sit here till
Yeah,
8,
especially
9.
with it being in the evening. But I think what we could do is maybe get each school to do the update. So if we have an update every so often, then the schools can take it in turns to write up something about the meeting, and it can obviously go out with the working papers of the meeting.
So maybe it could be, you know, if the junior council, if councillor In, if the junior council would like to invite a member of Colne Town Council to attend and as a guest and to listen and to hear what the children are saying, and then that member, that councillor, like Gina, can report back to full council on the experience of being there, but also the enthusiasm and the commitment of junior council.
So have you got some?
Yes, I was just thinking about the graffiti issue. If we can encourage the children to know about the Do It Online for the borough council.
Mhm.
It gives them an idea of how they can get things done. So there's all sorts of things for do it online, like fly tipping, reporting, and also this will help parents and adults know that this is the format that people can go through, rather than thinking, what can we do? Or ringing up the council and it taking forever to get through. And I have found that the do it online, once you've got your application in, it does work.
I did actually think, I've just remembered actually, with regards to the graffiti, I thought it might be a nice idea for the schools to design a sign. You know, for don't damage our play equipment kind of thing, or you know, make it like a, I don't know, like a child's poster, if you will.
Yeah, competition.
Yeah, so I thought that might be nice for them to do something like that. And then we can put it up in the play areas.
Councillor David?
Yes, Chairman. I was going to say that if they meet, you know, every 2 months, if they wanted, they could send us a report after every one of their meetings if they wanted, to send it to Gina, and then it could go on our next full council. So sometimes it would be 2 months before, and depending on how the months worked, it could be 3 months, and then we'd get it at that meeting. I don't think that would be a problem. Other than when I look at the list properly, although it's not a major problem, but one of the schools is not in our parish. So it actually needs to somewhere involve Trodden Parish Council as well, because one of the schools is in Trodden. So that they want involving, because their real link as regards council, on town council, parish council level, is with Trodden, not with us. So it needs to involve them as well, wouldn't it?
Do they come here? So,
They do come here for the meeting.
so the Jordan the school comes here as well?
Yep, yeah, the
Yeah.
schools and the teachers.
Yeah, I think that's a valid
But I
point.
meant to reporting to town council, like the, you know, if they report to us, I think
Report to
equally they
Trodden
need
as
to
well.
report to Trodden Parish Council as well, because some of the things that some of the kids from school have mentioned will be Trodden relevant rather than Colne relevant. So I think it needs to include them as well.
But I do like the idea what Councillor Tricia said, was if they're having a meeting, if any councillors can attend, just to sit in the background. And so if there's any questions, how would you deal with this? How would you address not to be there as taking control, but just to be there as we are councillors and this is what we do. And we sit and listen and we know we have input. I think that was possibly be an idea, maybe.
Yeah, I can mention it at the next meeting, to see how, you know, if they would be okay with councillors sitting in the meeting.
Yeah, Councillor Pat?
I was just thinking, either way, it would be a good thing for one of them to come to our meetings and see what happened. For one of us to go to their meetings and actually see it's better than just a report, I think.
I mean, in our sense, obviously we live stream our meetings, and you can go back and watch meetings on YouTube.
I don't keep much.
But it would give an indication to the children sort of how we conduct the meetings, etc. So yeah.
Is that everything? For the
There's one more item, sorry. quite a lot of correspondence received. Now, this was received at 3:30 today, this afternoon. And basically it has a deadline for response of Tuesday, the 30th of January. So that's before we have another meeting. Basically, I haven't had time to look into it properly, and I doubt anyone else has. It's regarding the Colne Master Plan. I can't find my page 2, but it says so there's a link to a final draft of the master plan for Colne. You'll see that there are still bits to be addressed. I'm releasing these to you now rather than waiting for the final completed draft copies. so that we can progress with these without further delay, with a view to getting the actual finished drafts out for one final public consultation, which will be via the web in early February. So there is a link provided to the draft master plan. As members of Town Council and our Committee for Colne, this is an opportunity to review in advance. So it says, please do not share these with the public outside of the council committee at this stage. These are drafts in progress and there will be opportunity for public review and comment soon. So the main feedback they are looking for is on the content of the documents, the projects, and whether you're comfortable with the proposals and information shown. But I think obviously given the deadline, we don't have time to give a collective response. So I think if anyone has any concerns to do it individually, because it has been sent to everyone, I think, via email.
I'm going to say the one thing I had a quick look at it earlier. One of the things it did say was, please don't comment on grammar or punctuation. It's just the content itself that they're just sending it out as a rough at the moment. Us to read through it, have a look at the content. It's the main content. If we have any issues, because they will then take that, get it proofread, get it grammatically correct, and then produce it.
Chairman, to send it out 3 hours before our meeting is a lot to ask for someone to find time during that 3 hours to read all of it. It is quite a long document.
Yeah.
And to come to some sort of a consensus on it. And then for us to be able to make a decision at tonight's meeting, it's impossible. So there are only two options really. Either we all send individual comments in if we have any comments before the 30th, or they extend it until after our next meeting and we can put it on that agenda to send a joint one. I don't think there's any other way of doing it. And it's so long you can't read it in half an hour. And it is an important document as well. And I think it wants doing right. Now, whether it's better to send individual comments in, because I don't think that's really what they're looking for. I don't know. I'm only guessing. I haven't a clue what Pendle Council are after there, whether they're after individual comments or a general consensus from the council. But we can't organise an extraordinary meeting because there aren't enough days to give notice and warning of it before the 30th anyway. So we just can't do it.
Yeah, when I read through the email earlier, when I read it, it did sound like as an individual.
Yeah.
Can you read it individually and send us?
Well, I think we can do that, and anybody who has any concerns can voice the concerns.
Yeah. The other thing I'd think I've got concern is I think Councillor Pat, you don't have email, do you? Apart from the town one.
Yeah, I do, but I'm not on this. I'm not on the because I keep forgetting to bring my laptop up for this young man to look through and put me on.
If this young man was,
Not very good.
if this young man was any good, he'd actually take his laptop, surely email if he's got it.
Yes, a little.
Sorry, Nathan. Yes, lovely people. Yes, Councillor Ian.
Yeah, I have the same problem as well, that I can't access my town council email address because I'm a technophobe and a Luddite, and my phone don't put stuff like that in. It's just basically used for making phone calls. So I don't get the email addresses. You know, any emails and that, I don't get anymore.
Woods, Gina, is there a chance of being able to organise a day when the flag will come up and actually read it online?
Yeah, anytime you come into the town hall, and obviously we can arrange for you to view it on one of the screens here, or alternatively I can print off a copy and you can collect it next week sometime.
Could you forward us a copy on my other email account? Would that be possible?
We don't use personal emails. The reason for that is for security reasons. Generic email addresses like Gmail and Hotmail, etc., aren't very secure and can be hacked into quite easily.
Councillor Ellis?
I just want a little bit of clarity here. So they're saying that they don't want the general public at the moment to comment on this.
Yes, it will go out to
But
further consultation.
so you're asking for us as councillors, individual councillors, to comment. Right,
Once you've
rather,
had time to digest the
whereas I
information.
think what they really want is the whole committee. Yeah, but we can't do that, so we'll do it as individual councillors, which to me is like a member of the public.
I mean, it was
Yeah.
sent to individual
So
councillors.
that's- yeah. Yeah,
So-
right. I haven't seen it because I
Right.
didn't look at my emails 3 hours before the meeting.
Councillor Patricia?
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, like Councillor David Clegg said, 3 hours before a meeting to read a document that is, to be honest, I am actually very, because obviously I am that, because obviously I'm busy and all that lot. So hearing this is, where's this come from? And then you told, you got it at 3:30. We've got a meeting at 7 o'clock. I had another meeting before this, so my time was even less, travelling time and all that lot. For excuse me, for us to read, digest, and then come up with a comment collectively in 3.5 hours after it was
Yeah, that's not.
put in our inboxes. And we're not all people who don't have jobs. Like yourself, Chair, yeah. You've been out at work today or at college, and you've come straight here, and other people at work or other activities. I did say activities there, Pat. And then we come here, and we got this document 3.5 hours earlier, and it's about 15 pages long and that's, I'm guessing, by Councillor David's face. well, as I said, I was guessing, but it's smacks of,
Silly.
yeah, it's ridiculous. We actually need, like Councillor David said, a week just to look at it, and then have our meeting. But they need this by next Tuesday. It doesn't give us enough time, and there's 5-6 members of the council not here. They've given their apologies. So
They will have got the email.
I know but the thing is, if we wanted a full council meeting to discuss this, they're not going to get a full consensus. So it looks like we are going to have to ask our 6 other councillors who aren't here to do it, to respond something, individually. Although it will, the response will come from our council email address, which I think you were referring to, Councillor Alice, so that they would know it was come from a councillor, not an individual member of the public. But it's still asking a lot in such a short time.
To be honest, I haven't had a chance to read it myself yet. So.
No, I've read about 3 pages now, I'm going to go. Councillor Anthony?
I actually had a chance to read quite a bit of this. So I had some time during work, so when I got the email, I thought, this looks interesting, I'll have a look at it. I do like a lot what's in it. There is on page 16 of it, there's a bit like what they've heard like from residents of Colne and what they love, don't love, and hopes. What they don't seem to love, obviously, the traffic issues, the economic inequalities preventing citizens playing full part in the town, unaffordable shops, public transport, bus routes and train frequency, and antisocial behaviour. So there's not a lot there what they don't love, but what they do love is the friendly, helpful sense of the community itself. The local facilities, obviously the flower shop, theatres, independent shops, leisure centre, health centre, library, police station. They love the events. Obviously, they've mentioned the Super Soapbox Challenge, the Blues Festival, Grand Prix, cycle race, the nightlife, market, independent shops, good amount of parking, location near hills, countryside, heritage, architecture, and unique landscapes. And what the hopes are is obviously better public transport, which is not something that obviously we've got any real input in. That's down to LCC. Cleaner and better maintained streets, fewer empty shops, a stronger market town identity, which I think is something that we can take on. More planted areas, which is something obviously when we're working with the obviously Colin in Bloom, we can do things about that. Activities for children and more inclusive community events. That's something that obviously can get brought up at an events committee that we can obviously discuss, and more well-lit spaces as well, and more pedestrian areas and more space for events. I'm not sure how we can create more pedestrian areas.
I mean, after this, and after they've received comments from councillors, it will then go through a public consultation, which they said is via the web, which they're expecting to be in February. So we can always bring it back to a future meeting, when that public consultation is in place.
Yep. Well, looking at the time, councillors, have we got to move on? Have we got any items for a future month's agenda? Nothing to be brought forward. In that case, the next full council meeting that's scheduled is Tuesday, the 20th of February at 7 p.m. Thank you very much, councillors.